Welcome to the Event Virtualization Summit powered by Ingo and in partnership with Modev. Thank you very much for taking time out of your day to be with us. First and foremost, I hope you and your loved ones are safe and healthy wherever in the world that you are. One thing that has become abundantly clear to me is the power of our event community, and we've seen that in droves over the past several weeks. We've seen our industry associations do a great job disseminating information and stepping up and going to bat for us with regard to government agencies around the world. We've seen convention and exhibition centers transformed into hospitals in mere days in some cases. And we've seen suppliers to the industry shift their business models to provide much needed medical equipment. We've been doing all of this while we're still contemplating the future of our industry. And we're going to talk about that a bit today. Secondly, I really want to thank you for such enthusiasm for this event. We had over 3,500 registrations from over 50 countries around the world. And I think that just speaks to the hunger, the curiosity that we all have around these new event formats. We have attendees who are for-profit organizers, associations, as well as corporate marketers who might be thinking about how to shift their events online as well. So thank you all for being here. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Jason Popp. I've been in the event industry for over 15 years, most recently as president of international at GES, one of the largest service suppliers of the industry. Now I'm helping companies like Ingo look to transition their businesses to this growing online world. We're going to talk a little bit about housekeeping. We have so many attendees today that everybody is going to be on mute, so please use that chat function that you're getting more and more familiar with on Zoom if you want to interact or ask any questions. Also, we're going to be recording this and make this available very soon for all of you to consume and to share with other people. Now, from an agenda perspective, we're first going to hear from Michael Barnett. Michael is the CEO and founder of Ingo, and Ingo really powered this event. And I think it's a great case study on what Ingo can do just by connecting people socially to drive attendance. We didn't use any above-line marketing at all. And as I said, we had over 3,500 people register for this event. Next, we're going to hear from 4 outstanding panelists that we've assembled. They're going to talk to us about how their organizations are looking at this virtual world. Next, we're going to hear 5-minute, really sharp presentations from companies who are creating new businesses and taking your events online, and these are ready now solutions. Then we're going to finish with Q&A from the audience as well as from the panelists and wrap things up. So before we get started, let's hear from Michael. Michael, over to you.
Thank you, Jason, and welcome everyone. I'm Michael Barnett, the founder and CEO of Ingo. We've always believed in the extraordinary potential of connecting your event communities to bring together the right people, grow those communities, and ensure that needs are met. And this is now more critical than ever. The global economy is driven on human needs, which have only increased in this time of disruption and fear and turmoil. And each of you as organizers has an incredible ability to bring together the right people, to leverage your talents to connect problem solvers and investors, builders, designers, producers, and consumers, which is why I'm so thankful to our panelists, Hervé Sedke, Kimberly Hardcastle, Isabel Peck, Dan Malore, and our moderator, Jason Popp, real brilliant leaders in our industry who are going to help guide us through how we think about better connecting our communities in this time. We're also thankful to you, the thousands of you who shared your excitement and grew the Event Virtualization Summit to thousands of attendees. Just 2 weeks ago, we empowered our panelists with Ingo, and they alone attracted over 200 attendees. Then we added in your excitement, your networks, and empowered that by Ingo, and really unleashed the potential of our industry to rally and come together at this critical time. If you want help growing your digital community, your virtual event, click the link below, give us a call, go to growing.events. And because we truly do believe in the key value that you bring to the table, if you're in distress, if you need help, please also let us know. We're coming together to help you out. And now, off to our excellent panel, starting with Hervé. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Event Virtualization. I'm with Reed Exhibitions, have been in the industry and with Reed for 5 years. After a 22-year career at American Express, where about half the time was in the travel business and half the time in the card business, I really love business transformation. And today's discussion is going to be particularly interesting as we look at how digital and virtual will look to transform the industry that we're in. On a call with CISO colleagues about a week ago, I talked about social distancing and how I don't believe in social distancing, but rather physical distancing. And I absolutely believe that we need to adhere to the measures, the protocols in place around physical distancing, but that's very different from social distancing. And actually, the need for us to remain connected is just as important today and will be even more important tomorrow as it was. And I think that face-to-face events will, of course, will return strong, but we will need to amplify the face-to-face events with digital and virtual experiences. And so today's discussion is timely, and I'm very, very much looking forward to it. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Kimberly Hardcastle, Chief Marketing Strategist at MDG. We're a 110-person agency with offices in Southern California, Chicago, Washington, D.C., Atlanta, and London. And our specialty is growing audiences for events, live and virtual.
Hello, I'm Dan Malore. I'm the EVP of Marketing and Operations for Health Evolution. Health Evolution engages CEOs, presidents, policymakers, board chairs, and other healthcare leaders through in-person and virtual gatherings, published insights, and information. Professionally, I have over 25 years of experience leading and transforming B2B and B2C media and events companies by leveraging data, digital, and technology. I'm looking very forward to our discussion today.
Hi, my name is Isabel Peck. I'm the Chief Marketing Officer for Informa Connect. We as a business run a lot of events, conferences, B2B and B2C exhibitions, training, education, and we also have a lot of media properties. I'm really excited to be taking part this afternoon in the Event Virtualization Summit, and my thanks go to Michael Barnett and the Ingo team for inviting me to participate. In my role as CMO, I'm responsible for marketing strategy and best practice, and I also work with a fabulous team to deliver the functions that we run centrally as a business. So things like data management and usage, brand and design, video, digital insight and analytics, social content, and digital generally. Prior to taking up this role, I ran our digital transformation project. And now that the tragedy of COVID-19 has come along, I'm also running a task force to look at how we can best deliver events digitally moving forward. So this afternoon's session is really timely for me personally, and I think for the industry as a whole, and I'm really looking forward to it. Thanks.
As you heard, we have an outstanding panel, and I'd really like to thank them for lending their expertise to this event. Now, on to the company presentations. We have got 5 great presentations from our selected companies, and they are Eventfinity, Intrado, Expo Platform, Balloon, and Brella. So on to the presentations.
Thank you, and good afternoon, everybody. I hope you're all doing well. My name is Dave Einzig, and I'm presenting today on behalf of Eventfinity. We partnered with Eventfinity because we felt that the very unique combination of its robust yet very simple to navigate event directory platform, combined with the enjoyable and even personable yet extremely productive video conferencing and broadcasting platform together really provides attendees and exhibitors the closest thing to the value proposition that they attend physical face-to-face events for. Let's jump into a demo and take a quick look. Okay, let's log in. And here we are. Very easy to navigate. Sidebar, sessions and events, Expo Hall, going into the networking directory. Homepage is completely customizable. You could lay it out just like your event website homepage with any content you'd like. Let's go into sessions and events. As you can see, this is where you can queue up your full agenda, toggled by day if you'd like. It's where your sessions, conferences, virtual parties, and receptions could all be laid out in here. If you were to go ahead and join a session, obviously it's not live right now, so take a look at what that looks like. You see the speakers, of course. There's chat, there's Q&A. You can see their presentations. The broadcast platform that sits behind this program in Eventfinity is extremely robust. This is where you can, or we can for you, fully control the mission critical elements of your conference program. Speaker green rooms, staging your speakers, audience polling, Q&A, graphical call outs with links. It's all done in a really, really mission critical way here in the Eventfinity broadcast platform back end. So that's all there for you to rest easy about. Going into the expo hall, very simple directory of exhibitors, but with all the features that you need. Either browse exhibitors alphabetically or by product category, different types of directory listings. You were to enter an exhibit, it is just like when you step into a real exhibit, you start talking with the people, and certain exhibitors can step to the side and have one-to-one or small group conversations to share their demos, their screen, their products. That is all in the Eventfinity exhibit experience. There's a branded video chat room for every exhibit staff member so that they can go ahead and have their own meetings and conversations and scheduling all independently across the exhibit hall. So you can see why the exhibitor experience is very interactive, personable, and real. Of course, there's networking that could be done at the receptions and the kickoff parties and in the small groups throughout the application. But the networking directory is really interesting because this is where you would search for all the people you want to catch up with. You can go ahead and find them throughout the attendee registered directory, invite them to chat, and if they accept your invitations, the two of you will be connected with notifications when you're both online. And when you have a few minutes, you can catch up with all those people that you want to talk to in the video conference rooms of your own and invite others to join you even and have small group chats. So it's a really nice way for all of the industry professionals to still catch up with each other, see how they're doing, and connect. A really big piece of Eventfinity I want to show before I run out of time is the back-end admin. It's very important that we empower you to manage, set up, and run your own events with your existing teams, and the back-end admin is necessary to do that. Here you can manage your attendees, view your analytics, your tracking, your registration information, push notifications. You can manage your agenda, badge types, permissions, all of your event styling, branding, pages, sidebar, even interactive maps and gamification for questions being asked when attendees leave exhibits or leave sessions with leaderboards and all that good stuff. So the back end is really super robust, and that's what, again, is necessary for you to be able to really control your own destiny with your online event plans. With only a few minutes, that's about as deep as I can go into the demo, but I hope you saw enough to see why Eventfinity could really be a solution for our industry to still provide attendees and exhibitors a really powerful way to still talk with each other, connect, and do business. If you have any questions, you want to explore Eventfinity for your events, please get in touch. Thanks, and have a great day.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Hey, I'm Ben Choder, and I have the privilege of walking you through today monetization of a virtual event, something that's very dear to my heart and to Intrado Digital Media. Just a brief overview who Intrado Digital Media is. First, we are about 1,200 plus global employees in about 17 countries around the world doing business in over 210. We are the world's largest enterprise streaming and virtual events company. We do more live streaming and on-demand streaming and create more virtual events than any other organization. So you would kind of guess we are sort of experts in this space. And today, what we're going to talk about is what happens in the world that we're in today where physical events are moving to virtual. And when this crisis is over and physical events come back, virtual will have to be part of your continuity and your programs going forward. So I'm bringing in my colleague, Doug. Hey, Doug. How are you, Doug?
Hey, Ben. Good to be here with you today.
I'm really excited to walk through this. This is something that we're really excited. Listen, we love our technology. We love working with customers. We've always been the biggest believers that virtual does not cannibalize physical events. But today, we're going to talk to you about, okay, your event is moving virtual. Now you have to figure out how to monetize it. Doug, you work with more associations and organizations, and you come from the live event industry. How important is this today?
So yeah, Ben, this is what this is about, and I have 30 years of physical event experience. But at some point, the NFL in the 1970s or 1980s realized that TV was going to be as much, if not more, revenue than their actual physical event. That's the pinnacle moment that we're at right now in the events industry, and it's truly exciting.
All right, Doug, I think we got to jump right into this because we only have a few minutes. We're going to be available for Q&A at the end. So we were asked to record, what do we think, about monetization? So here's the thing. When you do a virtual event, right, like a physical event, you have a lobby. So basically on this image, you can see it's a fitness conference with lots of different vendors. But what's great about it is you as a sponsor, your ability to be able to have branding. You can sponsor the lecture hall, you can sponsor breakouts, you can sponsor games and sessions. And my favorite part about monetizing virtual events is, unlike a physical event where you only have 3 days of the program or 2 days of the program, and then it's like, hey, see you at the next conference, this environment lives on for a year, or at least until your next event. And what that gives you the ability to do is, you as a sponsor, your brand is going to be seen by everyone who comes back, every new person. And then what's also great about virtual, people will tweet it and syndicate it, and it will give you the ability to take your brand and your message to a larger audience. I mean, do you agree with that, Doug?
Yeah, so right here in this example, Ben, you're taking a look at a lobby, right? The event host is certainly hosting this space, you can see their sponsors, prominently on that right-hand banner. So they're leading with their top sponsors right from their welcome.
And then the other thing is, you can make it have the look and feel as you want. Obviously, this is a fitness one, so everyone's wearing fitness clothes. When you go into the exhibit hall, they didn't want it to look just like a regular exhibit hall, like a lot of virtual events. They wanted all their sponsors to be highlighted on the board. They had yoga classes and different programs that you could also sponsor, right? So think about it. Not only can you sponsor breakout rooms and sessions and lectures, but functions too, and games. And so in this one, all the sponsors' brands are there. And then if you click into any individual sponsor's brand, what basically happens is you go into in this case, the Anytime Fitness room. And in there, you can find marketing material, promotional material. And what's also great for your sponsors is they get incredible reporting back, Doug. Touch on reporting for a second. Again, keep in mind, Doug, we have to keep this in under 5 minutes. So we have about a minute and a half left.
So yeah, listen, every activity from all of the attendees is recorded from entry to exit. So that gives the sponsors a real opportunity to see who was engaged in their booth, who downloaded handouts, who participated in the chat, who asked questions. And then you can reach out to actually staff booth members that are staffing the booths real time.
All right, so remember, you could actually sponsor the games, the interaction, and keep in mind, if it's a virtual event, don't make it didactic where you're just presenting out to us. Allow the audience to participate. They'll get better engagement with your brand, your sponsorship, and it will keep them more engaged in the program. Trivia contests are great. Other areas that you could sponsor that Doug and I are big fans of, here you go, here's the trivia, obviously general sessions, breakout rooms, speaker formats. Here's an example. So you could actually have 3 sponsors on a panel. You could sponsor panels and breakouts and TED type talks. I don't know, Doug, what do you want to talk anything about syndication? One of the powers for the sponsor now, it's not just who attends in the environment. You have the ability to syndicate it to Facebook or YouTube, Twitter, Roku. How important is syndication of your brand for the sponsor?
Well, Ben, as you often say, it's not just about the event. Right now that you're providing this digitally, you get year-round branding ability because all of our platforms are hosted for a year. So the extension of the brand to your audience throughout an entire year's worth of viewing is just incredibly powerful.
All right, so that was a picture. The last picture was our mobile presenting. I know we have limited time. We're going to take lots and lots of questions. Here's the key that everyone should walk away with. Virtual events are not going anywhere. Microsoft just announced that they canceled all their physical events until next year, right? So you need to think about what your virtual program is going to be and how you're going to engage your sponsors. I'm the biggest believer. Virtual is only going to enhance your sponsor's message, and sponsors have to understand this, and we're here to support them. Doug, final word, and then we're going to end the event.
Make the money from your sponsors. That's the end word.
Show me the money is what Doug likes to say. Spoken like a true salesman. Thank you, Doug, and thank you everyone for watching, and ready for Q&A.
Hey guys, my name is Mikita Fastovitz and I'm the CTO at Expo Platform, and I'm going to show you a little bit today about what we've been doing at Expo Platform for online events. So before I proceed to show you a little demo of our product and how you can make money on your event, I'd like to show you a little video that'll give you an overview of the product and then set the playing field. So that video I actually played from inside an exhibitor's profile here. So we're straight into the demo here. So this is an example of an exhibitor profile. They've got a description on the left-hand side, a logo or featured image. The products, you can click on any of the products, see a description, the product categories for that product, share it if you like it, see other products from this exhibitor, look at similar exhibitors and similar products if there are any. And then if you scroll down, you can see the team of this exhibitor that's participating in the event, similar exhibitors as well. All of these objects are interactive. You can favorite, meet, or message. Those are the three base sections that we've got on the platform, any of these guys. So if you're interested in booking a meeting or whatever, you can do that straight from here. I'm looking at my own exhibitor profile as this exhibitor. So I'm going to switch into this exhibitor's profile section, private section of the profile, and show you what they can see and how you can make money as the organizer here. So this is the dashboard. It's got interactions and meetings, so they can see a little bit basic statistics about their page. Profile activity, completeness bar, where they can see how complete their profile is. They can share or tweet their profile on LinkedIn, etc. One of the interesting elements here is this interactions section. So here we can actually see essentially online lead capture of how others have interacted with my profile. So I can see here that this person has favorited these products, and then I can go to their profile and see who are they, check their card, see what they're looking for, favorite, meet, or message them if I want to, see the matchmaking categories here. I'll talk a little bit more about the categories and the matchmaking in a second. And then a dynamic part of the card here that's determined by the organizer. So going back to the edit profile of the exhibitor, one of the couple ways in which you can make money, I showed you that you've got team members. You can limit the number of team members and charge them for additional team members. Each team member has their own calendar for meetings here. One of the other ways in which you can make money on exhibitors participation is by allowing a limited number of products for them to upload. Products are a really great way for them to generate leads. Products are something that gets recommended to visitors. So we have an object-to-person matchmaking algorithm here. And so allowing exhibitors to purchase these is a stream of revenue for you. We also have a matchmaking that's more for driving one-to-one meetings, where you can look at a top suggestion card and see what happens with your matches, essentially. So here's a top card, the percent match, the product categories we match in, and then some description of this visitor. If I click on this, I'll see their card, favorite, meet, or message, tell the algorithm that this isn't relevant, and it will adapt to my preferences. I'm an exhibitor here, so it's showing me just visitors. What I'm going to do here is now log out as the exhibitor and very quickly show you the visitor's point of view. So there we go. So this is the visitor. So from the visitor's perspective, they also have a dashboard One of the pages that you can land them on is the recommendations page. I mentioned that we have a recommendation engine that works person to object and is able to recommend different things. This is one of the sponsorship opportunities where you can actually recommend specific exhibitors if they paid for sponsorship. What we're able to recommend here, aside from exhibitors and products, are speakers, sessions, and news items, and you can configure which objects are output. So you can do the same thing actually in search. So we have search here for exhibitors and products, and you can output sponsored results there. I'm going to really quickly show you what happens if you've booked an online meeting here and join an online meeting room, because that's got some more sponsorship options here. So this is an example of an online meeting room. If I click join here, I'll be able to connect to the meeting room. And once I'm in there, I won't be able to switch on my video because I've got one running here. I can share my screen. Of course, I can turn on my video. I've got chat. I can see who else is in the room. I can see the products that were interesting when I booked the meeting here. And then I can see the content that this exhibitor has uploaded. One of the other things you can charge exhibitors for is pre-rolling sponsorship or content or banner, something like that in this meeting room here. And here's a preview of how online sessions look like with the possibility to sponsor them, which is another revenue stream. And sessions can also be purchased. So that's it. Thank you for watching, and if you've got any questions, I'd be very happy to answer them. Thanks.
Trade shows and events face a new reality during and post-coronavirus. There is no doubt it will accelerate digital transformation in many industries, especially the event industry. Balloon's market network platform has evolved over the last few years. We now have a robust solution that can help the industry with a virtual event in the near term and/or a strategic year-round audience engagement in the long run. Hi, my name is Deepak Gupta. I'm the CEO of Balloon Inc. After spinning off from our holding company last summer, Balloon is a new transformed company that is squarely focused on the event industry. Our core solution is our market network platform called Engage 365 that includes a business network and an e-commerce marketplace that enables trade show organizers and associations to extend their event lifecycle by engaging their audiences 365 days a year. But what is on everyone's mind right now is what they can do right away in the face of this major disruption. We think we have the answer. Our new offering called FlashX, built on the same robust platform. FlashX enables event organizers to quickly launch a companion online show for a live event that may have been canceled or postponed. The solution offers brand and product discovery, business networking between buyers and sellers, in addition to facilitating content sharing, meetings, webinars, thereby mirroring a show experience. In the next couple minutes, I will show you our FlashX solution in action. But keep in mind that you can seamlessly transition it into an even more comprehensive year-round Engage 365 solution should you choose to future-proof your business. So let's go online. After digitally registering, which includes a questionnaire, the attendee is inside the show and their show experience starts, which is completely configurable by the operator from the color scheme to all the content. What they can explore on the Discover page is the sponsorship space, like the banner ads, featured brands, as well as guided navigation to sessions and speakers, curated content like trends, category trends or product trends, industry news, as well as a very unique feature of social feed for the show or for this industry, as well as machine learned contents like popular products, new and updated showroom. From here, the attendee can start to explore on their own, for example, into the learning space where they can look at the sessions, the speakers, as well as look at the speakers and session profile pages. They can go to the social feed, which I alluded to earlier, which is a LinkedIn style social network of buyers and sellers and other attendees of the show, where they can like, share, comment, share content, and also interact socially. They can then start to explore and discover brands by going to the brand directory, which is a souped up e-directory, not just a listing, whereby just clicking a couple field values, they can get to the exact brand that they're looking for. They can start to follow the brand or connect with the brand, make a relationship, look at the rich brand profile, which has their video, their catalog, their brochures, products, and other information. They can start to interact with the brand from here, like getting onto their Zoom web conference or doing an in-app message, which also sends an email. They can also start their product discovery by category or by plain a powerful search. The products they see are completely shoppable, showing them the variants, the price, description, specifications, Q&A. The system maintains, after they're done, their connections, the connections that they have made at the show, as well as recommends matches of other brands. I'm now logged in as a seller or an exhibitor, Tina Kim, and in addition to having access to the social feed as well as the learning space, I also have the ability to manage content like my profile page, what the buyer sees as my storefront, my product catalog, or my showroom where I can import products from a CSV file or add them manually. As well as the system has a sales match where it recommends matching buyers to me based on my business preference and the buyer's profile, which I can accept as a lead. The system is also generating leads behind the scenes based on buyers interacting with this seller's profile or their showroom. For the operator or administrator, there is an enterprise-grade admin console that allows them to manage the look and feel, the extension fields, integration to other enterprise systems, access control, as well as metadata-driven CMS to manage the various pages. Last but not the least, all of the interactions between sellers and buyers are being captured and aggregated into pre-built dashboards for operational and customer analytics. In closing, our configurability and speed to market give us the ability to meet the needs of most event organizers. We're happy to schedule follow-up one-on-one meetings to discuss your show's specific needs and how our solution can meet them. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. I hope you're doing great. Super happy to be here today. My name is Ville Vanhala, and I'm the co-founder of Prella. And I'm excited to show you how you can monetize your virtual events. As a matter of fact, my background is with sponsorship sales. I did that for years before we started Prella. So this topic is super close to my heart. And that's why I'm excited to share what we have. So let's get started. First of all, we founded Prella already back in 2016. It was a matchmaking networking platform for virtual and live events. From there, it evolved to be a full event platform. And then we've been working with the leading event organizers ever since, including Informa TechRuns. It's good to mention that CoinDesk and the Consensus distributed event will be using Prella for their virtual event in May, which caters over 15,000 attendees. So we're super excited about that. Today, we are fully focused on virtual, but we believe that when the world is changing, it's getting better, you, the organizer, you need to move to hybrid, and we want to support you. So today, virtual, tomorrow, hybrid. But today, I'm going to share you how you can create the best possible sponsorship ROI. There are a few different options. One is match-made one-on-one meetings, then trackable presentations, and then virtual booth engagement, which is also trackable. So you can create actually amazing opportunities for your sponsors. And the cool thing about virtual is that everything is trackable. Let's get started. So in our platform, the first step is matchmaking, and this is the core. Together with you, we will customize the matchmaking list. And this is already a part which you can sell. So this could be a sponsor's solutions. And basically when the sponsor clicks this, they can define, hey, I offer or sell this. And then if it's a buyer, the buyer will say, I explore getting a buying. So this is super valuable. And you need to have this intent-based matchmaking is so valuable for virtual events because people need to know who they should be talking to. And especially the sponsors, you, the organizer, need to help them to save time by providing the best possible people. And you can do it with our matchmaking platform. Once the sponsor have identified these are my goals, this is what I offer, then they will be provided with people who are the best possible match. And basically from there, they can go ahead and schedule a meeting, or they can do a little bit extra filtering. So, oh, I only want to find people who are interested in networking tech and they explore getting or buying. So boom, list of leads. Imagine if your event is for 1,000 attendees. So this is lead list can be for like 50, 60 people. So amazing days for the sponsors. But then meeting scheduling is also made super simple. So the sponsors can see the buyer's profile and they can see what are they explore getting or buying. So when they send out the meeting request, they can already break the ice with the topic that, hey, let's talk about this. The likelihood for them to get more meaningful meetings will be higher. But also the buyers can reach out to the sponsor. Wow, I saw your solution, I saw the presentation, I saw your booth, so I want to reach out. Can we have a 15-minute conversation? And sponsors like, of course, this is the warmest lead I can get. And when the meeting is accepted, they can start a chat conversation, or they can jump on a call. So we built a virtual calling functionality into our platform. So having these one-on-one meetings is made super simple. And if the sponsor wants, they can add their colleagues into these meetings. So that's the matchmaking and meeting booking part. Then, of course, you can include presentations into your sponsorship packages. And we can track every presentation who's been viewing that. And of course, that's a great list of leads for your sponsors. Then we have the sponsor booth, virtual booth. And whenever a buyer goes to the booth, they can see a picture or video. This is fully customizable for the sponsor. But the great thing is that when the buyer engages with the video, we can track that who's been there, and we can give that information to your sponsor. So again, another source of leads. Also, the buyer, if they're really interested in like talking to the sponsor, they can schedule a meeting, or they can have a chat conversation with them. So in every source, the sponsor will get more leads. So for you as an organizer, of course, then you have a sponsor ads. So that can be something you can sell. This is also trackable metric in our platform. And every metric can be found in the dashboard. So you can see who's meeting with whom, how many meetings every sponsor have, and what are the engagement rates. So you can have the most amazing conversations with them after the event, because you can see how successful they were. So all in all, you have many different components. One is one-on-one meetings, high qualified. So these are sales qualified leads. Then you have the presentations. Those are marketing qualified leads, because people are watching it and you can deliver that data to the sponsor, but they might have to nurture those leads after the event. Then third one is the sponsor booth. So all the engagement there, again, a great list of leads. But on our end, we're also building elite sponsor program. So on top of all this, we want to help our customers to build the best possible sponsorship packages for the virtual world, which will be easy to buy for the sponsors, but it will provide the bulletproof ROI for them. So you, the organizer, you will make a lot of money. Also, we're building a hosted buyer program for online. So scheduling one-on-one meetings, you can have more power to it. And basically, that's about it. Thank you so much for listening. Stay strong and keep doing your best to bring people together. Bye-bye.
I think those were some great presentations. So thank you very much to all 5 companies and all the companies that submitted an application to be on the Event Virtualization Summit today. Before we move on to the Q&A, what I'd like to do is do a quick shout out to some of the sponsors and partners that made this all possible. First, our gold sponsors, Outsell, who provided research support, and Proper Expressions, who provided the marketing support today. Our platinum sponsors were 3Pillar, who provided VIP support, as well as, of course, our partners Modev, who were outstanding in the production, and Ingo, who did all of the pre-event marketing and social connections. So thank you very much to all of our sponsors. Now we're going to move on to the Q&A portion. So welcome everybody to the live Q&A portion of today. We are now live here. I'm in my office in Chicago. One of the things that we wanted to do with this event is not just tell you about best practice, but show you best practice. And so one of the things that you heard from earlier from Michael Barnett was how Ingo, through its social power, was able to drive amazing interactivity and registration numbers for this event. One interesting fact that we looked at just before the event is that the average attendee here has got 30 other connections of other attendees. So Ingo is able to drive an incredibly connected event. And so it just shows you the power of what you can do with your attendance. The other thing that you will have noticed that we did is we pre-recorded the first portion of this event. And the reason for that is we wanted to make sure that you as attendees were able to see the first part, in particular the company presentations, uninterrupted with great audio quality, strong production, graphical callouts, etc. So that's another one of the key best practices that we normally talk about. Another really important best practice is to create interactivity. That's what live events are all about. And that can be done in a face-to-face world and of course in a virtual world. So that's what we're doing right now is live Q&A. We've had great interaction so far. Thank you very much. We've been seeing some super questions coming through on the chat. One very common question I want to address right away is we do have links to all of the companies that presented on the Ingo website. That is www.ingo.me. So there will be plenty of opportunity for you to interact with these great companies and ask them some further questions after the event. But what we want to do is we want to make sure that we get into the Q&A with the panelists. So as you're interacting with this event, please make sure that you're using the hashtag IngoGrows. We want to make sure that we're getting that out on social. But we're going to move now into the panelist questions. Then we're going to take some time where I will be collating all of the questions coming from you, the audience. We'll ask the companies those questions, and then we'll do a wrap. So over to you, Hervé, for the first question from our panelists.
Very good. Thank you very much. And I would like to start off by thanking, but equally asking each one of the panelists a question. So for Dave, Ben, Mikita, Scott, Vila, the platform is really important. And you all discussed and showed us what the platform can do and how it can be used to either monetize or shift an event from physical to digital. My question is, there's a lot more beyond the platform. So can you please tell all of us what you're doing in terms of helping your clients with the creative, with how to get from really no digital and online platform or event to one, leveraging a platform, but everything else surrounding that?
Since our presentation was first, I'll go ahead and take that if you don't mind. It's a great question, Hervé.
Thanks, Dave.
Thank you. So really quickly, as you can see, our program was designed very specifically to be to plug into all of an event's existing team members as well as their content. So everything's not reinvented. From what we understand, a huge challenge to moving an event to the digital world is content collection. So if you have to go to the exhibitors and create a directory and collect all their content, we all know how difficult it is to get them to do that. So our program is in a linear way plugged into each of the existing elements of the physical show. So the registration person, marketing, messaging, ops, all of their roles within the event team are all the same. The sponsorships that are sold translate directly. And with the exhibitors, we're just giving them a stream. So there's no huge heavy lift on content collection. They're given their streams and they could do whatever they want with them. They could show whatever they want. They could show videos. They could have their products in the video, whatever it is. So everything's very linear and we just use what's existing and it carries over.
Hey Dave, this is Ben. That was a great response. I think on the Intrado side, what we focus on with all of our clients is we're all about telling them that you can't take a physical event and just put it on the web and have the same user experience. We help you figure, we don't create your content, but we help you figure out you can't do all didactic presentations. You can't do all hour format presentations. You got to mix it up with panels. You got to mix it up with TED Talk size technology and programs. So you have to think about your virtual audience and what are their viewing habits? When do they want to take breaks? What do they need to do? What are they watching on? Are they watching on an iPhone? Or are they watching on a computer? Are they watching on a tablet? So you can't just take a physical event and make it virtual. I think that's the one mistake a lot of people think. You can't just throw up a camera in the back of a general session room and send it out onto the web and expect that to be a virtual event. You have to plan a virtual event the same exact way you would plan a physical event. So for me, it's really helping our clients and our partners figure out how do you deliver what your message is and the ROI you want to the audience in a new world.
Yep, I'm going to jump in and say I totally agree with that. And to add more, I think one of the things that is also important to consider, aside from the content sort of migration part, is that we also have to think about the event. We have to keep kind of the event an event in the online format. How do we create the sense of urgency? That's one of the things we're working on with some of our customers on. How do we create the sense of urgency? How do we create the sense of presence? How do we make sure that when you're participating, you're actually participating? You're not browsing emails. It's not sort of you've got a month to go and do a whole bunch of stuff. So I think this is one of the key elements as well that shouldn't be missed.
Yeah, I would like to build on that as well. And I would echo Dave's point. A lot of the resources required to operate a digital platform map very well to the typical structure of a show team, right? There's a marketing function, there's a customer success function, there's a sales function, and all of those are the same with a virtual event. So we would, we would first say that you're more equipped to operate something like that than you might think you are. We've also, from a marketing and engagement tech, we've automated a lot of things with the Balloon platform. So in a couple of different ways, there are all kinds of event triggered notifications that go out. When someone performs a certain act, it's relevant to another person, an automatic message goes out to them. And there's all kinds of in-app messaging opportunities as well to create that engagement and take that lift off of your marketing resources.
Yeah, very good points. From our point of view, this is Ville from Brella. We basically have 3 teams to support our customers. One is customer success, who will basically help the customer to build the platform. Then there's a technical team who will help with the live stream part, because that is also something new for almost all the organizers. And then we have the sponsorship team. So we're also guiding with virtual sponsorship packages and how to tailor the storytelling in order to make it easier for the sponsors to understand the value of virtual events.
Thank you.
Okay, does that cover your question?
It does. Thank you.
Wonderful. Kimberly, do you have any questions for the companies?
Yeah, I do. I wanted to start with a comment first. I just wanted to thank Michael and Ingo for your leadership to our industry in conceptualizing and hosting this event. I think that many of you on the call could possibly borrow this very idea and sort of adapt it to your industry or community right now. And, I think there's clearly a lot of businesses and organizations, restaurants, schools, retailers who are having to pivot and are sort of looking for creative solutions and suppliers for inspiration and new tools, but don't necessarily want to sit through 8 different hour-long introductory pitches or whatever. So why not be the organization that curates solutions for them, like Ingo's done for us today? I know I'm going to be recommending this to a few of our clients, but that sort of leads me to my question. Many of us are going to online events right now out of obvious necessity, but we know at some point we're going to be on the other side of this pandemic, even though I think sometimes we have a tendency to forget that. But we're advising our clients to create online components for their physical events in the future as a way of, not only preparing for uncertainties, but also continuing to appeal to those who may have lingering concerns about mass gatherings or might not be able to travel because of restrictions or reduced budgets or whatever. So I wanted to get a little bit more, and I know you guys kind of all touched on it briefly, but how do your platforms align and integrate with physical events for those organizers who want to produce hybrid events in the future without cannibalizing revenue or detracting from the live event experience?
Hey, Kimberly, I'm going to jump in first if that's okay. We started in the business doing hybrids. We used to shout to everyone that you need to have a hybrid audience. People aren't going to attend every event. Everyone was like, nope, it's going to cannibalize our physical event. I've always said from day one, streaming and virtual events do not cannibalize on a physical event. What today is, you're going to need it for your continuity going forward, whether it's in 21, 22, it doesn't make a difference when. So it's actually
the technology is perfect for a hybrid broadcast and a hybrid program. And we've been saying that from day one.
Yeah, just to add on to that, someone used the word amplify before, and I think that's a great word in this particular situation. When we do get past this and the physical events start staging again, which we're all very much looking forward to, a lot of our clients are concerned that there still will be low attendance because not everybody can come. Exhibitors will have to pull the throttles back a little bit. So amplifying that physical event by having an extended online virtual version of the event that can give the exhibitors that added value, give the sponsors that added value, and still get the larger audience or maybe even a bigger audience together. And that goes back to the first question and why it's so important to not have two completely different types of events, because to put together a physical event that's in a very different model and content mix as the virtual version is really, really difficult in reality to pull off. So the digital version should be a online mirror of the structure of the physical event is all the more important when you talk about the two events working in parallel.
So from our point of view, I'd say that we have vast experience in live events. From exhibitions, if we're talking about exhibitions specifically, from exhibitions that are running just a dozen exhibitors to those that have thousands of exhibitors. And what we're actually aiming at is really the hybrid model, because we understand that the current situation with the coronavirus, it has pushed all of us to look for alternative ways to deliver events, which was part of my presentation, really. But I think we all agree that things are going to eventually go back to normal or more normal. However, we believe that now is the time to kind of explore hybridization. So our platform actually offers a way to participate in a mixed mode. So some people can participate remotely completely, some people can participate on site, and I think that's our vision anyway, is that can be a model that will work very well for the future. You don't need to suddenly change formats or produce something in parallel. You should be able to kind of run with both at the same time.
Right. Thank you. I'll build on that for a moment. At Balloon, our approach has always been, that event operators are in the business of building markets. They're built in the business of connecting buyers and sellers, connecting supply and demand. We've always felt that can be done in a platform agnostic approach, where it doesn't matter if it's face-to-face or digital. The two can enhance one another. I was always surprised when I was in the show business itself about all of the work and all of the effort and all the content that is created for 3 or 4 days. And we always felt that we should extend all of that should also be available, to your audiences in a more year-round fashion. We've got all kinds of tools and functionality that can really help, a show operator, the attendees, and the exhibitors pre-show, during show, and post-show, but primarily post-show, following up with all of that wonderful things that happen in a face-to-face event, and following up on that so that it actually translates into good, positive business outcomes.
Yeah, very good. And our point of view is basically that we believe that hybrid will be really big opportunity because it provides so much accessibility for events. I believe that events will be bigger than ever because of hybrid, and that will happen within the next 12 months already. How we see this is that the organizers can basically sell different kind of tickets, and then as a technology, we have to understand what kind of tickets people have bought and give different rules for people what they can do in the platform, that they understand who is a virtual attendee, who is a physical attendee, and based on that, provide the unique experience for that specific person.
That's great. Thank you, guys. Kimberly, anything else from you?
No, that was great. Thank you.
Very good. Dan, any questions that come to mind for the companies, either all 5 companies or any of the individual companies?
Yeah, these are for all 5 companies. I mean, I think what's exciting to me about, moving into a virtual digital environment is really the amount of data that's going to be available, engagement data for both attendees and sponsors. Can you talk about how, do you offer integration services, or do you have partnerships with, CRM companies out there? So, people on the data teams can actually integrate, data from your platforms into, centralized databases or their CRM.
Yeah, that's a great question, Dan. I'll jump on this one. Yeah, we have all kinds of API integration, RESTful API integration points integrated with some of the largest CRM companies out there, other event technology companies. Balloon is also a certified partner of Freeman's Fusion, which is their integration program. So if any of the show operators are using that tool, it's very easily integrated too. And I think one of the great things about all of our platforms, all the companies we're presenting today, is that digital offers an opportunity to create, to capture data and to use data at a layer that is previously it's very difficult to do in a physical environment, right? So we're capturing things like what are the most popular categories, what are the popular search words, who's connecting with who, what products are most popular, what products individual users are looking at, so that for us at Balloon, when we can empower our show operator partners with that sort of data, they can really kind of personalize not only their communications, but they can personalize that show experience because they've got the insights they need to really create, a powerful show experience.
Hey, Scott, this is Ben. I think that was a great answer. One of the things that we also do, besides giving every data point that when someone's inside the environment, we have RESTful APIs integrating with most. We also just announced a big partnership with Adobe and their Marketing Cloud and with Marketo, which we're really excited about. We also own our own social listening technology. So we think it's not only about what's happening inside the environment, it's who's tweeting about the event, who's linking about the event, Facebooking, is anyone blogging about it, is any TV, is anyone mentioning it in a podcast afterwards? So what's the power of virtual? Not only can we tell you what's happening inside the environment, but it's really how much amplified outside the world and who said something. So where did your message end up? And so, yeah, I think the data is king.
The quick Eventfinity answer on this is yes, there's integrations with third-party CRMs, but like everything, when you get back to reality, I think it's really crucial as a best practice to utilize our strong back end that is tracking and delivering analytics on attendance and logins and conversations and when attendees are stepping into exhibitor booths and how much time and how many different people they're talking to, basically the value of the exposure, and producing reports and sending them to every exhibiting and sponsoring company so that they are delivered an easy to digest view of the value of the online event and the amount of exposure they received.
From our point of view, we're trying to focus on delivering the events. We provide an open API that's very extensive, allows pushing, pulling of absolutely anything and everything in and out of our platform. We do have native integrations with some. We also partner up with companies like Blender, who provide easy integrations with lots of third-party solutions at the same time. So we go for a kind of a mixed model where if a native integration doesn't make sense because of time and cost and other things, we're happy to use or go with any other solution. But yeah, pulling data should be very easy at this point, I think.
Yeah, I can totally agree that pulling data is pretty easy. That's one thing. And the second thing is that what you should do with the data. So when you have all that data, so how can you utilize it? For example, Dan, you are kind of a growth hacker yourself. So how can we as a tech provider guide you that, okay, this is the data you will get from us. You should do maybe these kind of activities with this in order for help you to grow your attendance or maybe your sponsorship perspective. So that's all. That's our point of view.
That's very helpful, guys. I think at this point, I'm going to also just interject a question from our audience, which I think is quite relevant. GDPR. Now, GDPR hasn't been quarantined, sadly, and we're talking about RESTful APIs, and we're talking about data integration. Can any of the companies talk about what you're doing with regard to GDPR compliance and ensuring that our organizers are safe with their data?
Yeah, so that's great. That's a great question and a very important question. And GDPR, will be more of a global thing very shortly. So at Balloon, we're fortunate enough. We have lots of partners in the UK and in EMEA region, and we have been GDPR compliant since May of 18, which is a great start. But that GDPR best practices and all the data security is part of our platform, regardless where the deployment might be in any region of the world.
All right, and so on the Entrada side, we're 100% GDP compliant and CCPA compliant too. So as it's going through California and the rest of the world. So yeah, it's key. Client data and privacy is the most important thing.
Yep, great question and very important. Eventfinity also is fully GDPR and CCPA compliant, and outside again of our platform, and as long as the event organizers with their own systems and processes continue to do what you do to remain compliant, the two together should do very well.
Right. So Expo platform based in the UK, so we're obviously compliant since for a while now. I think one of the things, aside from just saying we're compliant, I'd like to add one thing, that GDPR is often misunderstood, actually, and often we often help organizers to understand that actually there's some things you don't need to ask permissions for, and some things that you must ask permission for. And I think there's a little bit of technology company responsibility for guiding the client, because some clients err on the way too cautious side and they end up losing a lot for it. But yeah.
Yeah, very good point. Yeah, we also fully GDPR compliant. We have our headquarters in Finland, also an office in the US, so we have to be, and we have customers who are obviously based in Europe. So this is really, really important topic for us.
That's great, guys. And I appreciate that. Isabel, any questions for you to the companies?
Yeah, thank you everybody for your excellent showcases. They were really good. Everything was very impressive. But I noted during all of the sessions, there was a massive focus on sponsors and exhibitors. But so I want to change that up a bit and talk a bit more about delegates and attendees. Delegate revenue is hugely important from us. So I'm really interested in the value that they will derive, from attending an event which is hosted on your platform. I'm therefore really interested in whether user research played a part in the end product that you created, and also what your strengths are around audience engagement.
I'll take that first. So, and that is a really great question. I'm glad we're touching on the attendee value proposition. One of the things that makes Eventfinity extremely unique is that it has this ability to, at scale, and automatically create an unlimited number of instantaneous breakout and video conferencing rooms. So it's almost like everyone that walks in your event, your online event, has is moving around with their own video conference room. And when you talk about value, when I attend a physical B2B event, I walk around and I see the people I know and we catch up. I go to parties, we talk. A lot of what I walk away with are all of these conversations with all the people that I ran into and caught up with. And with Eventfinity, I want to speak to that value prop of, as people are moving through the application, wherever they are, everyone that they come across, whether it be an exhibitor or a fellow attendee, they could, via a quick chat message, just jump into a video conference and have these human interactions. And I think that's a big piece of the attendee proposition, the value proposition that you're asking about.
From our point of view, so obviously the value for the attendees, that can vary. So it can be the content they're there to learn, or maybe it can be the right connections. They're looking for the most meaningful person to help them with some problems. So and we believe that if even one great connection can be super valuable if it's the right one. But then if you think about the attendee engagement, so it can vary from those one-on-one meetings, or it can vary from watching, participating in Q&As, polls, interacting with sponsors. So there's a lot of different variables for them, and we just have to understand that what is their goal of attending, and being able to provide that for that specific person.
I'll add to Vili's point. I super agree with what he just said, and actually I think the kind of AI matchmaking approach to things, and really, so the value is to give access to the people who are attending the event to the things they actually care about and want to see. If they care about exhibitors, show them the exhibitors they care about. If they recommend them the sessions that fit their subject areas and are interesting for them. Same for sponsors. Don't indiscriminately give them sponsors. I think the kind of AI matchmaking type of thing has huge value in creating relevance. And so that's what we're after.
Yeah, I would jump in just to add that, aside from the technology, regardless of the industry that your event serves, it's almost guaranteed that the competition is increasingly getting more difficult. And you may know it or you may not know it, but your attendees are online already, and they're looking for competitive advantages, new suppliers, information, new technologies. and everything they can to increase their differentiation from their competitors. What Balloon's proposition is that you guys have been running these unbelievable events that serve these industries, and all we want you to do is meet them where they are now, which is online, because they're finding other ways, to get the information that they need to be more competitive.
So great, that's a great answer, but I'll give from my point of view, this might not be the point of view of the whole company, but it's my point of view at Intrado, is content is king at the end of the day. It doesn't matter how great your booths are, your interaction is and anything, the end user who's gonna attend, if you don't make it compelling for me, content-wise, I don't care how many booths there are, I don't care how great reporting, I don't care about the one-on-ones, I am not coming back. You got to entertain me. I got to get the information I want, and I got to get it the way that I want to be able to handle it remotely. So at the end of the day, everything goes back to physical events, virtual events, content's king.
So to that point, when you were building your platform, did you actually research with potential users to work out how you can best engage them?
On our side, absolutely. Remember, we also started out as a live streaming company, right? So we were streaming before there was virtual events, right? So for us, it was always about the user experience, and then the environment is wrapped around it, right? I used to always think the environment was the movie theater for everything streaming. Now there's a lot more that can go around inside a virtual environment. But yeah, from day one, it was always about the user experience and the user journey, we'll call it.
I want to move this to our panel. So I know that a lot of our attendees are here because we've got a great panel. We've got some industry experts. We've got representatives from two of the largest for-profit show organizers. And I think they want to hear about how you're looking at virtual events. So one question that has come through the chat is around the fact that a lot of this technology has been around for a long time. Why do we think that going forward it's going to be any different? And Hervé, I'll put you on the spot first, and then I think what I'd like to do is just get the whole panel to sort of weigh in, not only on that question, but also about how your respective organizations are looking at virtual events. Have you run any virtual events over the past couple of months? And what were some of your key learns and takeaways from there? I think that our attendees would find that really interesting.
Sure, I'm happy to start. And to answer your question, I really do think that this crisis has been a bit of a wake-up call for, at least from the way that I'm looking at it. It's a wake-up call because intuitively, it's obvious that extending a physical event is the right way to go. Intuitively, it makes sense. And I agree with, I think it was Ben or someone talked about the fact that it's not going to cannibalize our existing events. I completely agree with that. As a matter of fact, an analogy that I like to use is really around, sports or Disney. You look at it online, you start online, then you go to a live event. So that experience is something that we experience across our entire life, and it should be absolutely no different in our world. So I really see it as a wake-up call. Now, having said this, from our perspective, in terms of what we've done and what we plan to do, I would say we've been, if you use a crawl, walk, run analogy, we've been crawling. So yes, we have done a number of things that are maybe low-hanging fruit, using better websites and linking exhibitor dashboards with matchmaking and providing some online content to exhibitors that can't be there, or to visitors who can't be there because they're stuck in a region with where they can't travel, or for any other reasons they're not able to make it to the show. Those are very simple solutions that exist today that I think we have adopted, but we really need to move a lot faster and quicker, and we need to start walking. Walking, for me at least, is having a more immersive, interactive, virtual showroom. And if you really look at just the introduction of simple off-the-shelf applications, whether they're virtual augmented reality, I know there's a new, for me anyway, a new term around mixed reality, where it's half virtual, half physical. How do we make that happen? And there's some best practices outside of our industry. So one of the ones that I found really interesting is L'Oréal, a big French makeup company that actually took a step back and actually bought a company called Modi Trade. Well, they're all about testing makeup without the makeup. So their world around us, Ford is looking at and has now technology where you're actually able to make cars without actually being physically there. Same thing on the airplane side. So around us, we're starting to see a huge movement towards this mixed reality. And I think there is applications. Some of the companies that we're talking to today and others are able to get us to that today. And then of course, there's the run. How do we get to a fully integrated customer journey, online and offline, 24/7, that allows us to get the data that we want, stay in touch with customers, building a truly differentiated digital experience that amplifies the content that we have at our shows. And I do think that is also achievable, but will take a lot more time to get there. So hope I answered your question.
To kind of stick with Hervé's sports themes and analogy, what we're talking to our clients about right now is, the difference between skating to where the puck is and skating where the puck is going. And I think we all acknowledge right now that we're in a place where events are canceled and they can't happen, but this is a really good time for us to pause and to reflect and for us to start planning about what the future is going to look like. And, as my question alluded to earlier, I really do believe that it's going to be around hybrid events. And, I participated in a virtual event webinar earlier this week with my colleagues from Freeman Strategy. And while I know today's discussion is more about production and execution, I think the importance of strategy should be emphasized. So these are some great platforms we've discussed today, some very smart providers. Regardless of which one you choose for the delivery, I think it's really imperative that you're using this time to be very clear on your objectives and how you're going to measure success. Is it about revenue for you, or keeping your audiences engaged, or finding opportunities to expand new audiences? Is it about content or community or commerce? But I think that, when we're all clear on our strategy and our mission, all of the decisions that follow about content delivery and platform and all the rest of it are going to be a lot easier to make.
I'll jump in as well. We have run digital events. We have definitely not nailed it. Very much like Hervé was saying, I think we are walking, not running as yet. And I know there are loads and loads of platforms out there, and we've seen today that they're excellent. But I think we need to be customer and experience led rather than product and technology led. So we're spending a lot of time doing customer research, actually talking to the people who are going to be using our platforms to find out the experiences that they want to have, how they best want to consume content digitally, how they best want to make connections. And we're also doing some experience mapping. So we're looking at the experience that we're delivering at a face-to-face event and seeing how we can translate that into a virtual world so that we can really offer the same value that we do in a live event, even if it's not where you're connecting with people physically.
That's a really good point, Isabel. Dan, do you have any reflections? I know that you've already run a couple of events yourself.
Yeah.
And how those have gone and sort of in relation to the platforms we saw today?
Sure. So one thing I do want to make a point from the last conversation. I mean, I think one thing that I'm noticing is that there's definitely more of a collaboration now between kind of the live events teams and the digital teams. I've worked at some major B2B companies where I felt like that they were always bifurcated, and now I think it's forcing people to kind of work together. These two distinct teams to kind of work together to develop either these virtual exclusive events or hybrid events. So I'm noticing that even with my own, my own company. I think kind of Ben touched on before about content and the virtual events that we stood up last week really focused. I mean, we took a rudimentary approach. I mean, we used, a major, platform that I'm not going to mention as kind of our platform to go with. But what we really focused on was like really delivering content and experience and doing something professionally. One of the things that we worried about because we didn't have any experience in this virtual arena or very little experience was that how it was going to affect our brand. So for example, if we weren't going to, if we did a poor job, will that have a negative reflection on our brand? So we spent a lot of time just kind of working through through a lot of prep. We hired a third party that was our AV team that we used for a live event to really help us, kind of work through that. So the first thing that we noticed was like, let's assess on the team if anyone has experience, and we did that. And we had some people that worked in the webinar arena, but not enough that could take us through. So we decided to double down and bring in a third party. The second piece was really about, play like you practice. I hate to bring up a sports analogy, but since we already brought one up, I mean, I think play like you practice is really important. And we spent a lot of time in rehearsal, making sure that people are comfortable about transitions, about what to expect, really kind of mitigate any type of tech issues that were happening, and really spending the effort to get everyone at that level of, really getting everyone comfortable, and really making sure that everyone from our chairman down to our people that are managing customer support in the back channel were all aware of what's going on. And it paid off. I mean, we did two last week. One went out without a hitch. Everyone was like high-fiving in the Slack channels, and we're all excited about that. And then the second day, we ran into some technology issues, and because we were prepared, we were able to get through them and manage through that. And we finished up strong. So my big takeaway is, look, it's new for everybody, and I think everyone's kind of moving into this world pretty quickly. But I cannot stress the amount of prep that you need to do. Just like you do for live events, you should put the time and effort into it as well.
That's exactly what I think the audience wanted to hear, was some clear wisdom from the front lines, folks who've actually done it already. So I appreciate that, Dan. There is so much that we can talk about. Clearly, there's some great questions coming from our attendees. I know that there are a lot of questions that people want to engage with the companies. So one way that we want to keep this dialogue going is to be launching the next versions of the Event Virtualization Summit. There's some clear follow-ups that I think we'll find valuable throughout the community. Today, in terms of our attendees, we have for-profit show organizers, we have associations, we have corporate marketers who are looking to launch and take online their own events. And of course, we've got other people from throughout the industry. So what I'd like to do next is throw it to Michael Barnett to talk about how we're going to follow up on this Event Virtualization Summit with some great interactive sessions in the next few weeks and months. Michael?
Yeah, thank you, Taylor. Thank you, Jason. Really appreciate that. So one thing I wanted to mention, we have 120, 130 people viewing through YouTube at the moment, but we have another 3,400 viewing through the actual website. So thank you all for showing up and joining us. We're getting thousands of requests for the video, the recording of this to be emailed out, and from all over the world. And particularly thank you for the people who are up at 2 and 3 and 4 a.m. in Australia and Singapore and the other side of the world. We hope to do some versions of this for in your time zones as well. But on that note of Jason's point, we've heard a lot of feedback, and thank you for the questions, asking about revenue generation, which we'll get to here a little bit, but then we'll have Fortune Magazine and CRE Tech and a few others discuss with revenue generation with us for virtual events on May 7th. We'll have Google and CNET discuss with us content for virtual events on April 23rd. And then we'll do another session on marketing and exponential growth later in April. And then we're going to do something around Global Exhibitions Day as well. So we hope you join us for all of those. Those were April 23rd and May 9th, pardon me, all Thursdays, because we've seen that works quite well. And look forward to seeing you again on those.
That's great. Michael, thank you. Those will be great follow-ups. I think hopefully you saw what we were trying to do today was to really bring to life some actionable solutions for you. I know there's a lot of curiosity and interest out there in the industry. We try to do is bring you some really tight presentations by the company, some great interaction with our star panelists. So I thank you all for that. There's going to be some follow-up. As Michael alluded to, we've recorded this session. We will make it available so you can rewatch it or share it with your teams. That'll be out at the Ingo website, which is www.ingo.me next week. We're also going to be producing a white paper, effectively a case study on how this particular event was pulled together. We're going to focus, of course, on how you generate the audience that we did through social interaction via Ingo. That white paper is going to be produced by Dahlia Plus. She's also one of our sponsors, and that will be available in the next couple of weeks. So be on the lookout for that. So I'm going to just wrap it up. That really just leaves it for me to say thank you so much for your interest, curiosity, and attendance. The interactivity has been great. A lot of great questions that have come out. As I said, we're going to be making links to all the companies available on the Ingo website so you can connect to them and ask for more information. And most importantly, I'll just leave you by saying our industry, the live events industry, is so essential. It is going to be such an integral part of our recoveries of our respective economies as we move through this crisis. So thank you very much from the bottom of my heart for all that you do out there. You're doing great work. It's essential work. Thank you for your attendance, and we'll look forward to participating with you at an upcoming Event Virtualization Summit. Thank you very much.